Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Hookah Anonymous, and you are now rocking with Mickey Truth. She live up to her name, not the fame. So make sure y'all subscribe to her channel and stay updated on what's real. Bye.
Coming from where I come from, they doubted me, but I came up. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. Coming from where I come from, they doubted me, but I came up. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world.
Good reporting ass Mickey.
We love you, Mickey.
He wasn't holding fucking classes that said, hey, bro, if we ever get arrested and they take you to a debriefing, fight and kick and spit and start boo-booing so they won't take you into the room.
What's up? It's your girl, Mickey Truth, a.k.a. Mickey Facts, and I'm back with another video, man. As always, y'all already know all information contained in this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All information used in this video is per the Fair Use Act. And any conclusion that you draw is on you, not me. So let's get it. Yo, shout out to everybody that's been commenting and sending me messages. But listen, y'all, listen, okay? I don't have all the answers, all right? But what I can do, I can try to put the pieces together. Now, as I told y'all in part one, me and Bleu DaVinci did speak on the safety valve. Because from someone who never even heard of a safety valve until I started working on this case, I really wanted to be enlightened. So, Bleu DaVinci did break it down to me. But before I get into that, I want to get into the viral interview that's been going on. I mean, it's all over the place, okay? J Diggs, all right? And I wasn't aware of who J Diggs was, but I have done some homework on him, okay? But before we get into all that, let's stay focused and let's listen to what he had to say.
The person has little or no history of criminal conviction. The person did not use violence or a gun. The person is not the leader or organizer of the offense. And the last one, the person told the prosecutor all he knows about sentencing, blah, 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 right? So basically, it's all about, when you go debrief, you got to sit down in a room. And they're going to ask you a series of questions. It's up to them to determine for them to go back to the judge and say, hey, judge, give him his safety valve. He told us enough information, okay? You don't have to necessarily get on a stand and say, or go in a room and say, I bought dope from so-and-so, I did this, I did that. Debriefing, they might ask you, hey, what's your name? What crew you in? Who the leader of the crew? Okay, what position do he do? What do this do? Okay, what about stash houses? What is this? How did the stash houses work? See, you understand what I'm saying? So you're debriefing. You're telling them all about how your system works, how your crew work, and how your crew move. That was Meech's problem. Now I'm going to tell you something else. Blue mentioned the limo. He said Meech was mad about the limo. When Meech called me, he wasn't mad about the limo. We knew about the limo. The limo came up. Now, but the problem was he debriefed. He went and sat down with the government. If you hear him in his interviews, he said it.
Now, that was part of J Diggs' interview where he breaks down what a safety valve is. Now, I'm not 100% sure if he ever did Fed time, because, y'all love to ask me, well, Mickey, did you do Fed time? How do you know? When I, say I Googled it or looked it up. So that was his definition. Not sure where it came from. But let's get into what Bleu DaVinci said when I brought up the safety valve.
Let me tell you what the paperwork is on me, baby. I'll tell you what it is off the rip. I'm not afraid to tell nobody. They took me to a debriefing meeting, and it was inside of my plea agreement meeting. It wasn't even a different meeting. It was only one meeting. My plea agreement meeting was the debriefing. And the debriefing was them showing me 14 statements against me. And went to the grand jury to get me indicted. And they asked me, what do you have to add to this story? If you want some time cut or anything, what do you have to add that could lead to an arrest, that could get you some leniency? And then me and my lawyer was like, nothing. As a matter of fact, all this shit that y'all got in front of us is more than Blue even knew already. Y'all got Blue's whole story and like 50% more shit that Blue never knew. Like, the shit that I was reading was amazing me. Niggas was getting robbed, niggas was shooting, niggas, all kind of shit was happening that I never had heard of that I was reading in the paperwork in front of me. So my lawyer, my standpoint was like, bro, wish we could help you, but we can't, nigga. Because y'all got more information than we even got. Where do we sign that? That's what it was. So now when my lawyer went in front of the judge and say, well, Mr. McKnight wishes he could help the government, but he just didn't have any information that could help him. everybody took
So your
part of
lawyer was
it.
just saying it like to get some brownie points with the judge.
Right.
type
Oh,
thing.
he wish he could help y'all, but he just don't have no information to
So,
help y'all.
little side note, y'all know I had to look up the meaning of it because, you know, when you get into the court system and get to throwing out these words, sometimes they don't mean what you think they mean, okay? So, the Google definition did come up to say that it's when a question about a completed mission or undertaking. That's a verb form. Then a noun form is a series of questions about a completed mission or undertaking. So technically it's the same thing no matter which spin you put on it. So as you listen to the remaining part of the interview regarding the plea and the safety valve, let me put this out there. Do you believe the questions that were asked of Bleu DaVinci did anything, whether it was confirming, putting a light on anything that did not only involve him, okay? Now remember that part. Do you think he had to answer a question about anything that will only affect him? Do you think he had to answer questions about BMF as a whole? Let me know, and definitely I'm in the comments. Let's continue on with the interview.
Point blank, period, if there was no information to help the government, period. I don't give a fuck how the lawyer said it in court to make it sound good to a judge or jury or whatever it was. That's on him, bitch. I didn't say that. He said that shit out his mouth. And that was the public defender that even said that, McCusick. That wasn't even my paid lawyer that did all the work. The $60,000 lawyer didn't say shit in court. Not one word, the black man, if everybody look up the court minutes. He didn't say one word. Everything he said was to me in my ear. I sat next to him. McCusick was my public defender that was inside of the office with all them fucking prosecutors and shit that knew them, that go to lunch with them. He's in the office with them. He works with them. So I didn't fire him when I hired my attorney.
Is that the one that wrote the book?
Nah, he ain't wrote. Not that I know of. Nah, that's the lady that wrote the book.
But that's not. See, that's another thing that your lawyer wrote a book and put that in it.
No, it was Mara Salhoop that wrote the BMF book, and she put some shit from my court. She was in my court when I got sentenced, and she said that I was crying in my court date, and my lawyer got up and said that we wish that we could help the government, but we didn't have any information. And people were saying, well, then if he had more information, then he would have told. That's what people start saying. So this is where all this snitch shit be coming from. I never told on nobody, but my lawyer got up there and said that they took me to a debriefing. Now, mind you, I was like 24, 25 years old. At this time, baby, let me tell you something. The only thing I understood about what even hearing a debriefing in my life was like watching an Army movie, and then they like, okay, you got to debrief at 1800 hours and tell us what happened when they bombed the site. That's the only time I've ever heard debriefing, the word even used in my life. I never knew what a fucking debriefing was. I've never been to prison. It was my first fucking offense. I've been to jails before, right quick for some shit, but I ain't never been to prison. You know what I'm saying? To deal with the feds and know what a debriefing is and what it means, and you shouldn't go to it. Big Meeks wasn't holding fucking classes that said, hey, bro, if we ever get arrested and they take you to a debriefing, fight and kick and spit and start boo-booing so they won't take you into the room. No, I was handcuffed. I was escorted to any room that I ever went to. I never volunteered to go to a debriefing or say nothing to the police, okay?
Right.
So let's be clear. We got to be clear about all this shit. People try to throw, and another thing they threw around with me, cooperation, the word cooperation, okay? Because with my safety valves, it tells you in Article 1 that you have to cooperate in a timely manner. Okay, meaning plea with the government or not plea and take it to trial. If you take it to trial, then you won't be eligible for a safety valve. If you fight the government, you won't be eligible for that leniency that they're trying to give you. You know what I'm saying? Right. You got to do certain, to get the safety valve is 2 articles, okay? I'm Article 1. There's 3 requirements to attain it. It has to be your first offense. You have to not have violence or a gun in the case. And you have to plea out in a timely manner, okay? But the way that it's written up, it don't say plea out in a timely manner. It says cooperate in a timely manner, okay? So people take that word cooperation, which actually means in the sense that we're speaking of it in, plea out. Not tell anything, because I'm not required to tell anything to get the safety valve. I just have to have these 3 requirements. Now, Article 2, if you look up what the safety valve, Article 2 is this. If you have violence, if you got criminal history, you could have been to jail 8 times, but you still trying to get this year off in the feds. And you got all these, and you had a gun and you shot it during your charge, but you still want them to give you the leniency and get it off. Now you got to do a 5K1 or a Rule 35 downward departure. That's rat. You got to snitch. You got to tell. You got to give them something. You got to talk. You got to debrief and give information that leads to an arrest. And then you could be awarded the safety valve with Article 2. But what people do is people is dumb and they don't understand the law, and they'll look up some shit that say safety valves and they'll be reading from Article 2. Yeah, nigga, he did a Rule 35. He did a 5K1. It said right here, safety valve, right? Niggas is dumb. And this is the type of shit that I've been going back and forth with this whole time. So for years, I just fucking live my life, ignore it, forget it. Now, watch this, baby girl. It wasn't until this motherfucking show dropped, 50 Cent came and all this shit got popping to where all this shit came back full surface last year, okay? I'm minding my own business. I ain't bothering nobody.
So, y'all, that was a lot to take in. And y'all know me, I just have to, like, dig in to find, like, every avenue it can be. But something interesting came up on Clubhouse, okay? Shout out to Don Ben. Y'all already know he gonna definitely speak his mind. And this is what he had to say, and it actually sparked a good conversation.
So after listening to Blue's conversation on Clubhouse and listening to J-Bo's interview with Vlad on YouTube, the question comes to mind when J-Bo broke down the situation in Lovejoy, and he went into the room with the detectives, and he told him he had nothing to say, take him back to his cell. In that moment, was he being debriefed?
That question definitely got my mind to wondering, okay? Because y'all know I am unbiased. You know, I go where the paperwork leads me, right? But I had to sit back and say, Mickey, I don't really think it's a question of, per se, what does the paperwork say? Because I've said, and I'm also going to put it in the video because y'all know y'all be trying to pull my card. But I said that debrief mean debrief, right? And Bleu DaVinci definitely said he was debriefed, right? And in the video with Jay Dig, he refers to Big Meech being upset or referring to Bleu as a rat because he was debriefed. But then when Dom asked that question, that technically what J-Bo was saying about the situation, him having to go into the room not knowing where he was going, although he did not say anything or just said, take me back to my cell, would that be considered debriefing? But, you know, I guess that would be more opinionated, right? But over here on the Truth Team, we try to see what resources that's publicly available we can do. So this is what I did, and then y'all let me know. Do y'all think being debriefed is snitching, right? And in the direct question to Bleu DaVinci, what can he do to, like, get this off of him, right? Let's check it out. So on the screen, you actually see me reviewing the guilty plea and plea agreement for Bereavement Night, aka Bleu DaVinci, okay? On that plea agreement, it talks about what the charges are, what the minimal, maximum, mandatory sentencing would be, and it even goes into like restitution fines, this and that. I am going to do an entire different video that breaks down who got their time the way they did and why they got that much time or that little time, because that's another question that's arising with Bleu DaVinci. Why did he only get 5 years? But that's a whole nother content video, okay? Focusing back in. Now, if you look at number 5, which is the safety valve information, right? On there, it's, to me, definitely look just, generic, right? It doesn't go into no details exactly about what type of safety valve he got or whatnot. And I only did this because I want to show y'all a comparison, okay? Again, this is Bereavement Night, aka Bleu DaVinci. But I'm going to show you a whole nother plea agreement that doesn't have nothing to do with Blue safety valve, and I want y'all to pay attention to the wording. Now, this particular defendant name is Derek Pitts, aka Killer. He is on the indictment with Bleu DaVinci, and I'm using his plea agreement for a reason, okay? Now, before we get into that, just take a look at it. It looks, just looking at it, identical to Bleu DaVinci, right? You see the wording, boom, bam, bam. You see the mandatory, maximum sentences, minimal sentences, It's the same as Bleu DaVinci, right? And if you go down to number 5, you see that it says acceptance of responsibility. Now on Bleu DaVinci, it says that number 5 was the actual safety valve, right? Now I will say the wording is similar, right? It is similar. I'm not gonna say identical, but it's similar as far as what I took from the meaning of it. Now this is the thing, right? When you go further down on the document, right? So again, number 5 on Bleu DaVinci is safety valve. Number 5 on Derek Pitts is acceptance of responsibility. All right. So what do you think is different? Well, I'll tell you. You see in the screen, number 7, cooperation. Yeah, it has its own separation for cooperation, right? And guess what? If you look back at Bleu DaVinci paperwork, he does not have cooperation on his. To be honest with you, number 7 on his paperwork is actually statement of facts and recommendation. Now, a lot of y'all gonna be like, Mickey, so what? We still want to know this and we still want to know that. Well, I got a question for y'all, but before I get into that, check this out. So this is a third defendant on the Bleu DaVinci's case, okay? And his name is Jamal Mitchell. Now, with Jamal Mitchell, it goes over the same information, just like, you know, Bleu DaVinci, just like Killer. I can't even think of his first name right off the top of my head right now. But same thing, right? Minimums, maximum, bam. Now, for this particular one, Mitchell actually got acceptance of a responsibility and also a safety valve clause in it, right? But then look at this. If you keep scrolling down, cooperation paragraph is in it too. So, in my mind, what I'm taking as you can be a cooperant with a safety valve or you cannot, right? That's what I was taking from it. So I was kind of just like, well, this is what we know. Bleu DaVinci has definitely cleared the air about him actually being debriefed. However, in his defense, he's saying he didn't even know that's what it was, right? I even asked him in regards to the transcript, right? He said that was just some words that his lawyer threw out there, right? He never told on nobody, right? So I'm like, okay, bam. We clearly see you don't have a cooperation paragraph in your plea agreement. So I'm like scratching my head. So I had to do it. Y'all know I had to do it. I had to take it back to Clout Monsters and put it on the stage. And this is what I had to say.
That it was, hold on. Demet's apology for saying that because he said that because of somebody else's paperwork.
Yeah, that's because of the paperwork that had came out on old boy, the Sims nigga. But at the same time, Blue was still saying, I could have got killed, nigga. Them niggas was trying to this and that.
That's
nigga,
a fact. He did say that.
Clear your
But gee, they didn't kill him because they showed that Meech's statement was off of somebody else's paperwork. That's my point. I'm with you.
Yeah, but listen to what I'm saying, dear. It's real.
I'm just playing the opposite on purpose, dear. You know what I'm doing right now.
I know what you're doing, but it's real simple for him to just get the motherfucking transcript.
Yeah, I think the burden of proof is on both ends. Like if I'm accusing you, it's on my burden. It's me to prove what I'm saying. Can't get no word, bro, because that nigga took a plea.
Get the transcript and put it to bed.
Hey, but listen,
Listen, if it was me, I would have done that first, nigga. I would have went and got that shit first, nigga.
Just to shoot you up.
So, y'all tough crowds. Shout out to the whole Cloud Monster team. Y'all hear Dell on there, T-Money, Dom, and I believe that is Key. You know, a lot of people from Texas was definitely in there. And I'm just gonna tell y'all, I'm never claimed to like be like knowledgeable or in the know when it comes to the street stuff, but I always have my own personal principles and values, okay? So I'm going to tell you my opinion on the whole situation when it comes to Blue being a cooperant or a rat, okay? I would definitely say, per the paperwork, like everybody like to put out there, I don't believe he cooperated. I don't believe he told anything. I do believe he went into the meeting. Now, with that, listening to his side of it, and then listening to J-Bo stating that he thought he was going to court. He did not know he was going into a meeting where they were going to be asking him to cooperate. So, yes, I'm going to say it. Mickey Truth, with looking at all the information that's publicly available, I'm going to side with Bleu DaVinci that this is definitely just overlooked stuff that could have been put to bed a long time ago. Now, I will say this, okay? And I'm going to say this because not only did Clout Monsters say it, but I have a couple people that watch my stuff send me messages, and they feel like they still want to see the safety valve. Now, if you don't know, I'm going to be the one to tell you. The only person that can bring up that safety valve is Bleu DaVinci, okay? One thing they said in Clout Monsters that made sense was, I'm pretty sure Bleu DaVinci knows that he is the only one to access it. He has not accessed it, or if he has, he hasn't made it public, and it's been over a decade. In my opinion, I doubt he's gonna, show it. He probably really doesn't care to show it because, like he has said, he didn't cooperate. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate because y'all know me. I don't like to be on one side. I just like to follow what the paperwork says. According to him, at some point in our interview that's at the beginning, he does say, the lawyer basically said, well, if that's what y'all got, then let me sign, keep it moving. Now, is that a stance to say, oh, I'm not going to tell you nothing, but everything you got is facts? Could be. But nevertheless, Truth Team, I'm just going to say, my opinion is Bleu DaVinci definitely didn't snitch in this case, okay? And I'm going to say this case because I have not read all these cases. I don't know. But definitely in this indictment, I don't see. Now, let me put this on here. I have disclosed 2 corroborants on this same indictment. And there's others on this indictment, right, that has corroborated. On top of the 13 that comes from other places, right? So, again, it's full of, and this is just this indictment. This is not even tapping in to, like, Big Meech's original indictment, none of that, okay? But I do want to shed light on one thing before I close out this video. I've pulled up Tanisha Walsh's paperwork, okay? And that is T's, I'm not sure if they're still together or not, but that is T's old lady, or was his old lady. That is the woman that did a Vlad interview where she called out Tammy Cohen's. And I will say, based off her plea agreement, she stood solid, for sure. I mean, it doesn't have no clauses where she got a safety valve, no cooperation, none of that. So in this world, no, let me not put it like, in this man's world, I just have to shout her out for standing solid, for sure. She took her time and she kept it moving. In this case, well, not this indictment, but she was on the Michigan indictment. And I just wanted to point that out. But yeah. Y'all, that's what I got. Definitely give me some more questions. I have more and more to come. We're going to get into, because, again, like I said earlier, a lot of people want to know, why did Bleu get 5 years? We're going to get into that. We're going to break it down to why, who got what and who got what, okay? And we still got to talk about Tammy Cohen's, right? And, look, if y'all haven't heard, you know what? I'm just going to let it play. And then y'all will know what I'm talking about, right?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Nikki.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't even know what I should call you. What do you want me to refer to you as?
Whichever one you're comfortable with. Everybody calls me Cuff, but my
So yes, that is Cuff, right? The Cuff who Bleu DaVinci brought to light the paperwork in regards to Tammy Cohen being a CSI, in regards to Meech possibly being a third-party informant or a third-party corroborator, right? And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, shout out to Tamara Gatlin, who actually reached out to me on my video that I did on her dad's case. And, she set it up so that I'm able to talk to him we are definitely working to get to the business, right? Get to the paperwork to really see what it is. And look, let me tell you, I'm so happy to not only be able to access the paperwork to see it, but to get somebody that's directly involved. So y'all, like I said, more content coming soon. And I want to just give y'all a little bit of what we talked about so far, right? Just so you can set the tone for this is definitely going to be A1 content, okay? Now, again, I appreciate y'all rocking out with your girl. I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. And instead of saying holla, I'm going to give you just a snippet of what type of stuff we're going to get into in the future.
Because the video your daughter found was me going over that document that Bleu dropped, which was document 528, right? And when I was going over it, you know, of course I read some of the transcripts and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't know if that really like jumps out to say Meech was the one who did it. So I'm like, where is the actual document that we, you know, to see that? Because that's the debate right now online, is if, you know, he was a reason or not.
Yeah, let me fill you in. What happened was...
They mad because I made it out.
I took the hard way. I ain't asking a nigga for nothing. I threw the hard way. Hard way. Hard way. My heart to this day. I'm really with it. My feelings in it. So please, bitch, don't play. I took the hard way. I ain't asking a nigga for nothing. I threw the hard way. Hard way. Hard way, my heart to this day. I'm really with it, my feelings in it, so please, bitch, don't play. Hey.